In December of 373 BC, the wealthy Greek city of Helike was the center of a powerful league and a hub for Mediterranean shipping. In a single night, a massive earthquake triggered a tsunami that submerged the entire city, its fleet, and its temples beneath the Gulf of Corinth. Real disasters like the fate of Helike provide a blueprint for our fixation on legendary sunken worlds. They suggest that at any moment, the sea can simply retract and erase the markers of human progress. This fixation has coalesced into a modern American mythology centered on Mount Shasta. Local legends describe a hidden city called Telos, built inside the volcano, inhabited by advanced survivors who escaped the destruction of a lost continent. Across the Indian Ocean, a parallel narrative exists in Tamil literature. It describes Kumari Kandam, an ancient, submerged cradle of civilization ruled by the Pandyan kings before it was lost to the waves. While Atlantis appears in the ancient dialogues of Plato, these accounts of Lemuria have a much more recent point of origin. The continent was invented less than 200 years ago. In 1864, a British zoologist named Philip Sclater published an academic paper titled The Mammals of Madagascar. He was struggling to explain a specific biological puzzle, and he hit upon a solution that would unintentionally birth a global myth. Sclater's Lemuria began as a Victorian biological miscalculation, a placeholder for missing data that was eventually mistaken for a mystical reality. Sclater was puzzled by the distribution of lemurs. Their fossils were present in Madagascar and India, but they were absent in the landmasses in between, continental Africa and the Middle East. Thousands of miles of deep ocean separate these regions. Small primates couldn't cross such distances. Sclater proposed Madagascar and India were once part of a larger, now sunken continent. He named it Lemuria, envisioning it as the original focus of their evolution. Before the mechanics of the Earth were understood, scientists often had to fabricate entire geographical features to explain why certain species appeared where they did. Sclater's sunken land bridge theory was eventually discarded when the scientific community accepted the mechanics of plate tectonics. Geologists proved that Madagascar and India were once physically joined as part of the supercontinent Gondwana. They didn't sink, they simply drifted apart over millions of years, carrying the lemur ancestors with them. As the scientific basis for Lemuria died, the term was adopted by Helena Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy. She incorporated the name into her own mystical doctrines regarding human origins. Blavatsky claimed Lemuria was the homeland of a root race of humanity, beings she described as giants who eventually evolved into modern humans. These writings were subsequently picked up by various cultural movements seeking to ground their modern identities in a grand ancient past. The name migrated from the laboratory to the fringe, repurposed as a placeholder for civilizations that felt stolen or lost to the passage of time. While geology abandoned the continent, the narrative survived, because it provided a way for people to look back at a time when their ancestors were considered the greatest civilization on Earth. Decades after the myth took hold, a new generation of geologists returned to the Indian Ocean, using contemporary forensic tools to map the seafloor. The investigation focused on the volcanic island of Mauritius. Researchers were looking for evidence of the crust's history, but they found something that didn't belong. On the beaches of the island, they discovered ancient zircon crystals. These highly durable minerals retain information about their age across billions of years. The 9-million-year-old volcanic rock of Mauritius presented a problem. The zircons found on its surface were over 2 billion years old. Scientists concluded magma plumes pushed toward the surface, dredging up fragments of a much older, deeply buried continental shelf. To find this hidden rock, researchers used satellite gravity data. While standard oceanic crust is 7 kilometers thick, the gravity map revealed areas beneath the seafloor 30 kilometers thick, the standard for a continent. By mapping these gravitational anomalies and dating the zircons, scientists confirmed that a fragmented microcontinent, now called Mauritia, is indeed hidden beneath the waves. In geological terms, a microcontinent is a detached fragment of continental crust. It is a massive rock, not a home for a lost society. Between 61 and 83 million years ago, the landmass that became Mauritia was caught in a violent rifting process. Tectonic forces shattered the rock, tearing it away from what is now Madagascar and India. This shattered land was eventually smothered by massive deposits of lava from volcanic hotspots and slowly submerged as the Indian Ocean floor expanded. This is a story of planetary physics. It is a record of a landmass that was broken and buried tens of millions of years before humans existed to tell stories about it. The violent, uninhabited reality of Mauritia bears no resemblance to the peaceful, telepathic utopia described in Lemurian lore. Humans often invent these myths to make sense of a world that seems fragile. We create stories of survivors and hidden cities to reassure ourselves that even if a civilization disappears, its essence might remain. But the physical evidence is its own feat. Using nothing but a grain of sand and gravity readings from space, we have reconstructed the existence of a continent that has been hidden for 80 million years. The story of Lemuria is no longer a myth about a lost paradise. It is the story of a billion-year-old piece of the planet that we finally have the tools to see.